In this video, we're going to look at organizing your data optimally in support of the kind of analysis you want to conduct. I'm going to work with a set here called social media cases. These are approximately 20,000 tweets from the general election in Denmark in 2015. I have selected some of the data. You can see here I have some data from the 27th of May, which is the first set. We can read it here. These are some of the tweets that we can look at. And we can continue on the next page and the next page. And the final set we have included is on the 16th of June, which is the day or maybe 1 or 2 days before the general election. I'll show you now how organizing the tweets in these days can be helpful for certain purposes. So I'm going to select now a timeline analysis, and this one allows for input from several folders. I'm just using input from one folder, but we have to ask a question, and I will now ask the question, show me everything related to welfare. And we have the welfare topic here, and we'll submit that. And what we have here is the days, 27th of May here, which is the first data set, and the last one, that was the day in June, approximately 21 days later. The advantage of saving the data one set per day is having a specific result analyzable divided into individual days. So this top here is one specific date. It's set number 12. So it's the 7th of June. We see there are several occurrences of our topic that day. And in comparison, these 2 days have absolutely no occurrences. So in days 16 and 18, 17 and 18, so these 3 days, there are no examples of the occurrences we are looking for. Now, if I don't need the information about division into individual days, I could also just select a combined folder where everything is in one single folder. Let us go back and change that. So we open the folder again, and I'm going to deselect now all of the selections that I did before. So now let me go back, and this one is called all parties. So that is all the information for all the days, covering all the parties that took part in the election and all their tweets. That has been selected now, and we'll now choose this timeline. You see, in this variant, I can have more themes analyzed in one go, but I'll just take the one we had before so we can compare directly. We have welfare. So let's see how that looks in this example here. I'm going to change this into absolute values. So this is now the exact same pattern that we had before. You notice that it's looking a little bit differently. We did have this beginning that started up here and then went down before. And we also had this top over here and this sort of sliding off towards the end. That's the same. But because we are now dividing not into single days, but actually just 16 segments, we get a picture that is a little bit different. Not a big distortion, but a little different. This, however, has some advantages. This allows us to say, well, we want to have the line smooth. Why don't you show me now this picture in just 8 segments? So let's try that. And now we can see more clearly that actually, yes, we had a kind of a plateau here in the beginning. We had a lower plateau here in the middle, and we end up a little bit higher towards the end. And all the words that go into creating this picture are shown down here below. I could smooth it even more, so that I can divide into segments of 4. And we see now how The general picture is the parties starting discussing welfare in the beginning of the election, then they slow down a little bit on this topic, and they ended up the discussions in the tweets by going up and increasingly focusing on welfare. What I'm going to do now is add another topic, because we have now kind of a baseline. We have the welfare topic. Let's see if there are other topics that can be compared to this. There was a big discussion in that general election about zero growth of expenses, especially towards welfare. So let's see how the zero growth topic, how big that is. So this is an economic topic. Zero growth in economic expenditures is the topic we're going to add. So we have that as our second topic here. Let's see as we update how that looks. And we can simplify things even more. So we just want to have the general overview. We want to have the start and beginning, and we see the general picture is this. The first topic, which is the first one, is welfare. It starts a little bit lower and it moves up and becomes higher. The other one, the zero growth, starts higher, however, and then loses off a little bit and ends up lower towards the end of the discussions in the general election. So there's something going on here where these two topics kind of change roles throughout the communication process leading up to the general election. Let's see how this looks if we divide these tweets up into what the different parties are saying. That is again a kind of organizing principle that we can apply. So let me show you here how we have done that. We now don't select all the parties anymore. We take the individual names, and these of course are in Danish, but there is one party called the Alternative, and there is the Danish Folk Party. There is the unit list, and these two did not have a lot of activity, so we're going to exclude these. And this one, by the way, is not really a political party. We have the Conservative Folk Party, Liberal Alliance. The National Party was not really active on the social media either, but the left party here, the Radical, which is actually not a left but a center-medium party, Social Democrats, and the Socialist Folk Party, and this is the traditional left, also a center or center-right party. We have these parties selected now, and we can go back and see what pattern we get if we look at the difference in focus on these topics by these parties here. And we select the welfare topic once again. So we have it here. And let's see what the difference is. And now we see that there is really a big difference between how much the welfare topic is being communicated by the different parties. These two first parties don't really focus that much on that, the Alternative and Dansk Folkeparti. Then the unit list comes in here on the third place. They have some mention of it, but where it really becomes a big theme is number 6 and 7 and 9. 6 and 7 and 9, that's the Radikale Venstre and Social Democrats and Venstre. These are the three parties especially focused upon this welfare theme. We had the other theme called zero growth. Let's see how that looks. And here we have a quite different result. Zero growth is topping here with party number 7, and that party is the Social Democrats. They have a total of more than 150 mentions of zero growth, including this hashtag here. So apparently this is a really important part of at least the behavior, and perhaps even the structure of the strategy that the Social Democrats launched in this campaign. Now, we can't see the structure of the strategy here because this is the whole communication throughout the whole period in just one data point. But let's go back now and just select the Social Democrats. So we have the data set here, and we'll deselect what we did before and just take the Social Democrats, we have them here, and focus solely on the messages that were conveyed by this party in the election process, or leading up to the election process. We're going to combine. This time we can start with zero growth. Have that be our first topic. And our next topic can then be welfare. And we want to have the absolute numbers, and we want to have a simplified picture. We just want 8 segments. Everything is now divided into 8 segments. And here we can see that in general, the first topic, the blue one here, dominates the second topic, the welfare topic. I can actually make that even clearer. Let me divide into 4 segments. And here we see that throughout the whole process, at any point of time, the zero growth topic is more frequently discussed by the tweeters representing the Social Democrats. We can actually make it even more simple by just having 2 parts, and this makes it even clearer. All the time, the focus on zero growth dominates the focus on welfare. And this is actually quite surprising, because welfare would typically be expected as a classical Social Democrat theme. What they seem to have been doing here is focus more upon discussing the policy of the incumbent government, the Venstre party, who have been attacked throughout the process leading up to the election by the Social Democrats for conducting a zero growth policy. Now that of course is between the parties, but we have now established some data analysis here to allow us to go more into finding out was this actually the behavior? It seems to be, and we can now of course start discussing, was it successful? We know the result. The Social Democrats did not manage to tip over and grasp the power. And part of the reason of that can perhaps be that actually this theme that they launched and wanted, of course, the other parties to also buy into was not contagious. It did not move into the other parties, but taking part in the communication ahead of the election. And it was kind of left as a topic that the Social Democrats focused on by themselves. This was an example of how organizing your data into relevant sets and having a relevant structure of the way you save your data can make it possible for you to easily dive into various topics that you want to check out. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and see you back soon.